Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call to order tonight's regular Board of Education meeting for Wednesday, September 28th, 2022, here at 5:30 p.m. at the boardroom in MAP Central Administrative Building. Could we have a roll call, please, Tammy?
Paul Prue.
Aye. We're here.
Jeff Krieger.
Here.
Ron Liberty.
Here.
Kendra Osmus. Here. Jacqueline Grumler.
Here.
Maria Volpe.
Here.
Brett Waller.
Here.
Linda Yingling.
Here. Kevin Blake.
Here. Can you please rise, face the flag as you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Merrill Area Public Schools Board of Education meeting. MAPS respects the role of our elected board members and the function of our board meetings. Board members and administrators are committed to working collaboratively to provide our students a safe learning environment and the highest level of achievement. This meeting is a formal event, and professional conduct is the expectation for all in attendance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. First thing on our agenda here is the public comments to the board. I did not have any sheets turned in this evening, so we're going to go right to board recognition. First group we would like to recognize as a board is the Prairie River Middle School staff web leaders who worked with our student web leaders to make it a positive start for our 5th grade and new middle school students on August 30th. That group is Trina Knuspe, Laura Forster, Chris Hahn, Emily Heckendorf, and Hazley Bennell. Thank you for your service. Who's able to join us? I'll call the students here next.
Oh, you do them next.
Yep, since we had a larger crew. Thank you. Well, why don't we wait and we'll do the students and leaders together?
Okay.
Do that. Since we are recognizing the web student leaders also. I'm not sure who's all here, but we'll read the list of names, and everyone who's here can join me. The 8th grade web student leaders are Tatiana Anderson, Paige Byer, Alexandra Coretto, Shanna Hurt, Brody Klebanow, Izzy Klockow, Mark Marvin, Maya Meyer, Marissa Miles, Jackson Millard, Merrill Nas, Carlina Nebergall, Ramiel Nirbas, Greta Peterson, Addison Picard, Lauren Rice, Layla Schmidt, Alyssa Schneider, Peyton Smith, Kaylee Stry, Jenna Weiss, and Lauren Zielsdorf. So if any of those students are here, you can join the web leaders as well. Awesome. Why don't we stand in the center? Let's have all the students. Let's kind of center around the. There you go. Everybody. One of you ladies like to talk a little bit about the web experience? I know we have seen that in action for any of us that have kids or grandkids at the middle school, but talk about the role web leaders play in bringing in our 5th graders. And
Sure. So WEB stands for Where Everybody Belongs, but we just call it WEB. It's pretty well known. I believe it's 13th year, maybe, at the middle school. It's kind of the middle school version of the late crew at the high school. So it is a full transition day for the students who are coming as an orientation experience. But our web leaders give up 3 days of their summer to come to be trained, and then also to lead the orientation day. So it's a really great way for them to show those leadership skills, welcome the incoming classes, So it's been a wonderful program at the middle school.
I think our hope this year is to bring them in more on a monthly basis in advisory classes to kind of continue those lessons and make sure everybody's doing okay.
Yeah. And they're long days. They give up those last precious days of summer and to come donate their time. They do a great job.
Good.
Yes. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I get the pleasure of recognizing our school board as we come upon Wisconsin School Board Appreciation Week, which is next week, October 2nd through 8th. Being a school board member is a pretty big commitment. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of reading in order to be prepared for the meetings, lots of things to understand, a lot of super fun policy things to be familiar with, input from the community, those kind of things. So it's a big task, and we do appreciate all that you do. I shared this with you back in August, I believe, but as I go to different conferences, I'm reminded, and through networking and talking to people, just how good of a place our board is in currently, in a day and age of hyper polarization and politicization, whatever the term is, of everything. Our board focuses on kids and our community and really is efficient and effective. And so I appreciate what you do, our community appreciates what you do, and happy early board appreciation week next week. So thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. Next, I'd like to, all of us hear from our Student Board of Education representatives on their report from the high school. I'll turn it over to Brooke Rudai and Isaiah Rell.
So within the next week, we will be having our midterm, and along with that, on October 12th, we will be having our first parent-teacher conference of the year. Seeing as this week is homecoming, we started the week off with our Monday Powder Puff game, which is junior versus senior girls for football, as many of you know. And then tonight, we have our Power Buff game. It's where the junior and senior boys play volleyball against each other. And the theme for homecoming this year will be Disney, and everything this week is surrounded around Disney and all the themes and dress-up days. Coming up, there will be a bonfire on Friday and the parade, football game, and all the other things related to that on Saturday. As well as the midterm coming up, we also had the pre-ACT last week. Last week, Wednesday, the 9th through 11th graders took our pre-ACT, which will be used as an indicator for the future ACT scores of the students.
Link Crew was a huge success again this year. Link Crew is a club. It focuses on preparing freshmen for high school through tours, advice, and checking in on them throughout the year. It went very smoothly this year and helped the freshmen to be ready for a great school year. This year, the school also put on something called a freshman boot camp, in which freshmen were taught the essential skills needed to succeed in high school. Also this year, we have had very smooth drop-off and pickup lines. They've gone very well this year. We've been able to limit the long lines extending into the road, and it made the lines of colors go very smoothly.
Was that a plant?
Was it subtle?
The twitch.
Thank you, Isaiah and Brooke. Did any board members have any questions for any of the high school activities that they commented on? Or I think they do a nice job reporting everything, so thank you for your updates.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next on our agenda this evening is administrative reports. Reminder that a lot of this has been discussed at committee level, and administrators have been in contact with board members and vice versa if there was any questions, but sometimes board members ask questions or have comments here tonight just to put them on the record. I will turn this over to Mr. Murray for a couple updates and any questions for administrative reports.
Thank you. Several of you were present in August when Dr. Strike did a presentation on short-term borrowing and line of credit, and gave a really good presentation with graphs on cash flow situations that are unique to the schools, and she has a very good way of presenting things, and so that inspired us to do some board education. And I signed her up for this month, and Dr. Strike is very, very busy in September. So she's just got done with an audit, and we've got last year's budget to close, next year's coming up, getting ready for the annual report and stuff. So we are letting her off the hook this evening on that report. But we will have Dr. Strike share board education in small chunks with us in an ongoing fashion, because she's very, very good at that. So the next item on there is the district scorecard data from last year that was shared at CTP as well. I'd entertain any questions that anybody may have on that. We will have the 22-23 scorecard and goals and those things coming up in October. Next is the Director of Curriculum Instruction report. Glenda is here to answer any questions. The topic is professional development. Any questions for Glenda tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to the Director of Special Ed Pupil Services report. There's some information about the Newtown Health Department and their annual report, and there's a topic summary sheet attached. Karen Baker is not here. She was at a professional development session down regarding mental health down in Oshkosh. So if you have any questions, I can get my back on. Next is the Director of Business Services report. There's a number of topics there, including student counts, aid certification, those type of things. There's a topic summary sheet report included from Dr. Strike, and she is here if you have any questions for her. Seeing none, we'll move on to F, Director of Buildings and Grounds Transportation update. There's a topic summary sheet attached from Dale Bergman, who is not here this evening. He had a day off today. But his topic summary sheets includes things like building consolidation updates, summer maintenance projects, and those kind of things. And if there are any questions, I would address those. And then lastly is the superintendent's report that's attached. There's some information on what we've been doing with the referendum, which has been a lot throughout the month of September, and you can kind of see those activities there. I would entertain any questions that anybody may have with that, and I'd also like to just kind of get a pulse on what you're hearing. Kevin and I talked about this yesterday. We talked about it at what's the vibe on the street.
The little bit of feedback I got is positive, and the sharing of information and the Facebook Lives, and you're a movie star.
Yes. Yeah. So it's gone from being. It seems like last week there was more negatives, and so there's not a lot of negative, but it's like eerily silent. Ron?
My wife's got a couple friends that said they got more mailings this time than they did last time. And they were positive about what was in the mailings,
Okay,
which is the good thing. Also, people aren't just throwing them away. It sounds like they're reading.
The presentations that we've done have been positive. The Facebook Live things have been good. The meetings have been fine. And so we're doing about all the time. And so, but if you do hear things that I should be addressing, please let me know.
The biggest naysayer we had is it's been relatively quiet and not opposing us openly yet.
Yeah.
Still working on him, hopefully to go positive on Facebook. He's a Facebook nut, so
Sure.
you can get him on there and get him positive, it'll help.
Is there,
Keep working on it.
sorry, is there more signs to be, that you
Yeah,
have
so
available?
There are two. Well, I think Maria's claimed one, so there might be one.
Can I claim one then also?
Yes.
Okay, so
and
then there's one.
we distributed to the buildings for staff to put out, and
Okay.
tomorrow we're getting those back, so I'll have it.
Okay.
But then we're gonna open them up to the community.
Okay.
So we've had, surprisingly, a good number of people want them, and, from the community that called us looking for them, which is
Do
good.
you need wires?
No, I think we're okay with players, right? Assuming we get them all back in the buildings. You're looking to get rid of some?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Sorry, I can't. Then I also mentioned some discussion about Jefferson and the future of that, just so you know, when we talked about this in different settings on different times, that we're looking to do really kind of a district-wide facilities study, so we can understand all of our needs from NEC to MATA to all of it. And so that, I'll be coming with a formal proposal in October or November, certainly starting with the facilities committee. At your table, there's some information on adopt a board member, so you can kind of see the assignments and the rotation that was paused since COVID. We shared that with the administrators, and we'll be discussing it in greater detail tomorrow at our alt meeting in the afternoon. One of the big changes is that we're switching to a semester rotation, and so that you get to see more schools and see more people, and more administrators can get to know you. So I would say start next week, and feel free to contact your administrators and meet with them. In person would be ideal, over the phone would be okay too. So, any questions on any of those things? I think that's all I've got.
All right. Thank you, Shannon. Next on our agenda is committee reports or action. We'll start with the Facilities Committee. There was attached draft minutes from the September 7th Facilities Committee meeting. Myself as chair and the people that were in attendance at that meeting, because I was absent, could answer questions. Do we have any questions for the Facilities Committee from the September 7th meeting? Hearing none, we'll move down to the Policy Committee. Attached were the draft minutes from the September 13th committee meeting. We have committee members available to answer questions. Do we have any questions for our Policy Committee? Hearing none, we'll move to our Finance Human Resources Committee. The attached draft minutes from September 14th committee meeting were attached. Brett Waller as chair and other members of the committee are available to answer questions. Anyone have questions from the board for the Finance Human Resources Committee? Hearing none, we'll move on to the CTP, or Curriculum Technology Pupil Services Committee. The draft minutes were attached from the September 14th committee meeting. Maria Volpe as chair, and other members of the committee are in attendance to answer questions. If board members have any questions for our CTP committee this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on. I guess we could mention at this time, I know we did move around the schedule based on some different things. You had a conference, and we had some different things going on we're looking at. We've been asked by different members of committees and whatnot to see what dates things are on and how that all aligns. And Shannon and I will be looking at that in the future, but we really haven't put any time into that right now.
I'll send some information out on Friday with the update about the concept, and then we'll run through those committees.
So next on our agenda is unfinished business. We do not have anything in that category, so let's get started on the agenda topics under Board of Education business. The first item there is review of the annual meeting budget presentation and 2022-2023 budget book draft. Attached topic summary sheet was from Dr. Kelly Strike, and recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Do we have a motion this evening? Maria?
Move to approve the 2022-2023 budget presentation at the annual meeting in October.
I'll second.
Motion by Maria, a second by Ron. Does anyone have any questions or discussion on this motion or topic? Anyone have any questions or discussion on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Do we have any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously on a voice vote. Next item on our agenda is the October special board meeting to adopt the 2022-23 revised budget and levy certification to be held October 24th, 2022, following the annual meeting and budget hearing. Just a note there that on our original calendar, it was originally scheduled to be that Wednesday, October 26th. It's now being moved to the closure of the annual meeting and budget hearing. Anything you'd like to add on that, Shannon?
Sure. So by statute, that special board meeting has to happen after the annual meeting and after the budget hearing, but that can be any time after. And so we had it 2 days after, but nothing will change in those 2 days. So all it does is bring everybody back together for a night. And the thinking there being, as long as everybody's there, go from the annual meeting to a special board meeting and post it that way. Just a little more.
We'd have it in the same location,
Yep.
in the
Same
high school
location.
auditorium, and just streamline the process.
Yep.
All right. Next on the agenda is a resolution authorizing temporary borrowing in an amount not to exceed $5,100,000, issuance of tax and revenue anticipation promissory notes, and participation in a PMA levy and aid anticipation notes. The attached topic summary sheet was provided by Dr. Strike. A recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee is there. Do we have anyone willing to make a motion tonight? Maria?
Move to approve the resolution authorizing temporary borrowing in an amount not to exceed $5,100,000, issuance of tax and revenue anticipation promissory notes, and participation in the PMA levy and aid anticipation notes program, approving Dr. Kelly Strike as the acting fiscal agent for MAPS regarding signatures required on the day of the offering, and other documentation relating to this borrowing.
Second.
Motion by Maria, we have a second by Paul. Do we have any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Hearing none with this type of a topic, I'm going to turn it over to Tammy for a roll call vote, please.
Paul Crew,
Aye.
Jack Krieger,
Aye.
Ron Liberty,
Aye.
Kendra Osnes,
Aye.
Jacqueline Grumler,
Aye.
Maria Volpe,
Aye.
Brett Waller,
Aye.
Linda Yingling,
Aye.
Kevin Blake.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously on a roll call vote. Next item on our agenda are changes to the support staff handbook regarding vacation. The attached topic summary sheet was provided by Dr. Strike and a recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Do we have a motion on this topic this evening? Paul?
Move to approve the recommendations by the HR Finance Committee, the approval of support staff handbook change.
Motion by Paul. Do we have a second? We have a second by Ron. Do we have any discussion on this motion or topic this evening? Chad?
Where it says days not used will be lost, does that just mean they're not paid out either, they just lose them?
I'll defer to Kelly on that.
Yes, that's correct. And that's not a change. That wasn't a change that was made. Yep, that is what happens with vacation. PTO rolls and vacation is not paid out.
Any additional questions while we have Dr. Strike at the table on this motion? Kendra?
Just for those that weren't at the finance meeting, I think, and this isn't anything that's new, this is how it was, but there was something when we put a motion through that caused this to be, please rephrase it correctly if I'm misconstruing
I think it was
it.
more of a typo. You adjusted the vacation for 12-month employees.
Mhm.
So when they took out the old language and put the adjusted language in, they accidentally removed the two lines that refer to the vacation
Mhm.
for 10 and 11-month employees, so it kind of implied everyone was getting the 12-month allocation, so we just put the two lines back. Yeah. I think it was more of a typo than a change.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Any additional questions for Dr. Strike or Mr. Murray on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Do you have any abstentions? Motion carries on a voice vote. Next item on our agenda are changes to the teacher and support staff handbooks regarding dress and grooming. Attached topic summary sheet was from Shannon Murray. Recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Do we have anyone with a motion on this topic this evening? Paul?
I move to recommend the Finance Committee's recommendation modifying the teacher and support staff handbook language regarding personal appearance and staff dress code as presented.
Motion by Paul. Do we have a second? Second by Ron. Do we have any questions or discussion on this motion or topic? Any questions or discussion on this particular motion or topic?
I'll just say, as a practice, we prefer not to bring handbook changes midstream. That's the purpose of this. But we saw the typo and maybe a philosophical change here, so we don't expect to be bringing handbook changes to every month.
Thank you for the clarification. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously on a voice vote. Next item on our agenda this evening is the Prairie River Middle School Steamers. Attached is a topic summary sheet from Dale Bergman and a recommended motion from our Facilities Committee. Do we have anyone willing to make a motion on this topic? Ron?
Make a motion to approve the purchase of new steamers for Prairie River Middle School not to exceed $35,000.
Motion by Ron. Do we have a second? Second by Paul. Any discussion or questions on this topic or motion? Any discussion or questions on this topic or motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously on a voice vote. Next item is Neola's Volume 31, Number 2 Technical Corrections. Just a reminder, under our bylaw 0131.3, the superintendent is authorized to review and make technical corrections to policies. We do often catch them when reviewing them, either by policy committee or by our individual committees. A common one is, it says Board of Education, and years ago we started to shorten that to the word board, just to be consistent. We did that. This is where Shannon brings us those things to our attention in one spot for all of us to review. So it's really informational only. So we will move on to the next item on our agenda is the Community Foundation donation. On there was a donation form attached, or topic summary, from Tricia Dieter regarding the donation of funds from the Community Foundation valued at $2,500 for the Merrill Marching Band Tournament of Roses travel expenses. Once we, just as a reminder, once we hit the amount of $2,500 or greater per policy 7230, donation does come to the board for separate approval. There is a recommended motion with that. Would anyone like to make a motion on this topic? Maria?
Move to approve the donation of funds from the Community Foundation valued at $2,500 for Merrill Marching Band Tournament of the Roses travel expenses.
We have a motion by Maria. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second by Paul. Do we have any discussion or questions on that motion or this topic? Any discussion or questions on the motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously on a voice vote. Thanks again to the Community Foundation for the donation toward the marching band's travel expenses. Next on our agenda is bylaw 0161, parliamentary authority. It's a revised bylaw, and there's some recommendation by our policy committee. I don't know, Shannon, if you wanted to touch base on this.
Sure. If you click that link to bylaw 0161, for those of you that were at the policy committee meeting, Neola presented this, and they it was one of those situations where we picked the choice, and there were no choices. So we came back with the choice based on their recommendation. The choices are essentially one of two things. You can require a parliamentarian to be present at every board meeting, or when appropriate, one can be appointed. And so the choice that is there is one of two choices, but that choice is one appropriate as opposed to one required. Basically, when required would be too limiting to us. So that's why you don't see two choices there. We certainly could keep this tabled and bring it back with that second choice in there. That's the desire of the board.
So with that being said, we've all had time to review that, or if not, we can take a quick moment to review if we do need to. We would look for, now that it's been added, a motion for approval as a second reading, is that correct? Anyone is willing to make that motion? Paul?
I would move to approve bylaw 0161 parliamentary authority as a second reading.
Motion by Paul, do we have a second? Second by Maria. Any discussion or question on that motion? Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is policy 8146, notification of educational options. Here again, correct me if I'm wrong, Shannon, but the policy committee recommended tabling any updates in that. It does talk about the next policy, 2370, that we're about to go through with the educational options. So we're going to leave that, or we can discuss it as a group tonight.
Either way, so when we reviewed this policy at policy committee, it referenced in their policy 2370, which we didn't have. And so 2370 was next on the agenda as a first read. They both essentially deal with the same topics of notification of the educational options that we provide. And so it's kind of like maybe a little cart before the horse, and one's the first read and second read and those kind of things. And so that's kind of the genesis of how we got to this place. The 2370 was the missing policy that was on.
Anyone have any questions on that? My understanding, all that came out of policy committee. Is policy committee fine with waiting on that, and we'll go through 2370 next, and then we'll come back accordingly? Or would somebody like to make a different motion this evening?
I should note that in both cases, that is our practice. We do those things despite the policy, and so it's not that anything's not going to happen, or anything is going to happen out of order. We do those things annually.
Paul?
I would move to approve policy 2370, educational options provided by the district as a first reading.
A motion by Paul. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jacqueline. Any discussion or questions on that motion? And to clarify, that was approving policy 2370, educational options provided by the district as a first reading, which if we're following along would be K on our agenda as well. Any discussion or questions on that motion or this topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. As we got started, there was an additional technical correction. Instead of blending those together, when we were reviewing those today, Shannon and I noted that there was a technical correction also to policy 5771. We happened to put those in two spots. So just wanted everyone to know that that was brought up there, and we just did not combine those. So that is an information only. Same thing for that bylaw 0131.3. And that was the example I utilized before, where it's changing Board of Education to board.
It's good. I don't know if you used 8146 yet.
My understanding of 8146, by not having a motion, that we were leaving that,
Okay.
unless you want that officially tabled. At this time, I asked for a motion, there was none, we went to 2370. So my belief was that we will.
Do you want formal action on this?
No.
I think we're all right with having no action, we'll follow that up once we have the second reading of 2370. All right. Next on our agenda would be the personnel report, the hirings, recruitments, resignations, retirements. There's an updated personnel report from Amber Rizzo and Dr. Kelly Strike. There is a recommended motion. Do we have a motion on this topic? Ron?
Make a motion to approve the attached personnel report contingent upon satisfaction of the appropriate liquidated damages for resignations if applicable.
Motion by Ron. Do we have a second? Second by Paul. Any questions or discussion on this motion or topic? Any question or discussion on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Do we have any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously on a voice vote. Next on our agenda is indeed the consent agenda. I'll ask, before I ask for a motion, if anyone would like anything pulled from the consent agenda. I know there was some discussion at policy on some of these. I think policies have been gone through very well, but if, as an example, just as a reminder, if someone wanted to go through in more detail before I ask for the motion, this would, someone, as an example, would say, I would like to pull policy 3213, 4213, and we would have a discussion and deal with that separately because the motion on consent agenda is not discussable. So just a reminder and an example. So I will ask, do we want anything pulled from the consent agenda one more time? And then I will ask for a motion. Anyone willing to make the motion for the consent agenda approval? Paul?
I move to approve the consent agenda items A through D, which includes minutes of the August 17th, 2022 meetings. Second readings of bylaw 0100, definitions, policies 3213, 4213, student supervision and welfare, policies 3121 and 4121, criminal history record check and employee self-reporting requirements. Policy 2260.02, services for the bilingual students, English learners. Policy 2414, human growth and development. Policy 2522, library and media centers. Policy 5113, open enrollment program, interdistrict. Policy 5340, student accidents, illness, concussion. Policy 5517.01, bullying. And policy 7440.01, video surveillance and electronic monitoring. Claims, vouchers, and receipts totaling $2,781,412.64, and donations totaling $3,964.
Motion by Paul. Do we have a second? Second by Jacqueline. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Do we have any abstentions? The motion carries unanimously on a voice vote. Next on our agenda is the items for future meetings. While we can always contact, you can always contact Shannon or myself or the head of a committee. This is a time, if you've thought of something since the last committee, that board members can bring those items up. We do have a couple items on a running list that we continue to work on or update as we are going. Does any board members have any items that they can think of this evening for future meetings? Hearing none, a reminder, tomorrow morning, there is a radio program scheduled, approximately 8:15, Blue Jay 730 radio. Mr. Murray and I will go through tonight's board meeting and any events in the district currently. Future meetings, the Finance Human Resources Committee meets next on Wednesday, October 5th at 4:30 p.m. in the boardroom. Head Start Policy Committee meets on Tuesday, October 11th, 5:30 PM, Pine River School for Young Learners. CTP, or Curriculum Technology Pupil Services Committee, meets next on Wednesday, October 12th, 4:30 PM in the boardroom. The next regular scheduled board meeting is Wednesday, October 19th, 5:30 PM in the boardroom. That said, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Maria, second by Linda to adjourn at 6:10 PM. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay.
I realize we're adjourned, but I would like to remind everybody here that that hurricane is hitting Florida, and in the area it's hitting, we have some Merrill people living, so keep them in your thoughts and prayers as this hurricane goes through the area there. Reportedly one of the worst hurricanes in the last, they keep using the term 100-year storm, so I don't know.
All right. Thank you.